Hello and welcome to my book nook where I talk about all things stories. Today's video is going to be my goals for 2026. These are specifically the reading goals, and then there is a writing goal. Um, like I this is not all of my writing goals. This is just one of the goals that I have, but it's the most relevant at this time. But I wrote them down, and so I have eight to like share with you guys today, and I am really excited. It is, December 29th as of filming this, and I am super excited. I have kind of already like mentally started doing these goals, but like they're officially kicking into play starting January 1st. But anyways, enough rambling. Let's just jump into my goals for 2026. So the first goal that I have is, in my opinion, the most exciting. It's the biggest goal. It is one that I am pretty confident is going to happen, and you can see the smile on my face. And that is, I am going to be publishing my debut novel in 2026. I do have a publication month in mind. And as of right now, I think it might be able to happen. I have not officially published anything online, and I obviously still have to buy my like ISBN number and start all the marketing and whatnot. But I do think that I am going to be able to publish my novel this year, which makes me so excited. I am in works with my cover artist, and I'm getting like the sketches, and we are working together, and we are now at the phase where we're starting to like talk about like colors and details and all that. We have like the general sketch down and whatnot, and I am so excited. I absolutely love my cover. I mean, obviously I am biased, but I absolutely love it and cannot wait to share it with all of you guys. But yeah, that is coming. I want to publish my novel this year. That to me is the biggest goal. If none of these other goals happen, that is totally okay. That is the one I am most excited about. It is number one for a reason. But anyways, that is the one writing goal that I have for this year that I'm going to talk about. The rest are all reading. The second one is going to seem kind of counterintuitive, knowing that I have a mostly book channel here. I do talk about, stories and K-pop and whatnot a little bit, but for the most part, most of my content is book related. And my second goal is I want to read slower in 2026. Yeah, I'm aware that most people are like, how do I read faster? How do I read more? And I'm like, I want to read less and I want to read slower. And you'll see this is a reoccurring theme in these goals. I have just realized I have developed some bad reading habits since really delving into the book side of YouTube. I have been on this side as a viewer for years at this point. I honestly do not know how long it's been. I honestly think it's been like at least a decade that I've been like on the book side of YouTube for a while. So it's been a hot minute, but I absolutely love it. And it's just I want to read slower. I want to be more intentional with my reading. I don't want to be like trying to like read as fast as I can get the story. I want to really enjoy it. And again, it's kind of the idea of like quality over quantity. I have never been somebody who has prioritized the number of books that I have read. However, I just had that kind of mindset of just I want to read this as fast as possible, not because I don't enjoy it or because I'm trying to hit a number. It's just because I'm trying to consume the story as fast as possible, and it's great in the moment. But I am really seeing the consequences of that this year. Previously, in past years, there have been like mystery thriller books where I'm just like I didn't remember reading them at all, and like I would have to go read like synopsises and stuff like that to be able to be like, oh yeah, I read this book, I liked this book, and I don't remember a single thing about it. And that was kind of like my first red flag, and I'm starting to see it again this year with my fantasy, like my romantasies, where I loved the book. I gushed about the book. I still gush. I have very fond memories. I think back on it fondly. I am now getting into like sequels. And unless I read that book, like the first book earlier in the year, I'm realizing I am forgetting major details that are happening in the books. And I truly think it's because I read it too fast. Um, One of the things is I typically read all of my audiobooks on 2 times speed or higher, and I'm going to be really conscious of doing that this year. Like I do not under any circumstance want to go over 2 times speed. And if I can, I'm going to actually try to slow that down depending on what I am doing, how slow the narrator is, stuff like that. And just being really intentional with it because, and like also the types of books that I'm reading. So my fantasy and romantasy, I definitely want to do on the slower pace and the slower side. Um, but I want to be more engaged with what I am reading, and I think forcing myself to slow down and read the content is really going to help with that. A side goal, consider this maybe a goal like 2.5, is I want to, as a result, try to read more physically. And so, especially for those fantasy books that I may have like sped through, like I read Onyx Storm in one day. I listened to the entire audiobook, I think at like 2 or 2.5 times speed. And I know for a fact that I'm going to have to go back and reread the Empyrean series, because there is a lull between books 3 and 4, which, you know, fair to Rebecca Yarros, like, you know, take that break, do what you need to. But as a reader, I kind of messed up. And so I need to now go back and read those books in order to fully enjoy and give book 4 the best chance possible at me enjoying it, because it's not fair to the author and it's not fair to the book if I go into it forgetting major details and then my enjoyment suffers and my like quote unquote rating, because I don't actually rate books, just because of the way my brain processes reading and books and whatnot. It's not fair to anybody involved to not give it the best chance, like fighting chance. And so I am just really going to be intentional with reading slower and also, you know, reading more physically. So that's kind of that. And kind of going in a tangent, with reading slower and more purposeful, goal number 3, because sorry, I'm reading, is to participate in less readathons. I love readathons. I love readathons so much. So much. And there are so many good ones out there. I follow Pages with Paige, and she every month creates a video about all of the upcoming readathons. And my own readathon has now been mentioned in 2 of those because we have now done 2 rounds. Or, well, we've done 1 round. As of filming this, we're about to start round 2. My own readathons have been mentioned in it, and that video is how I found some of the new channels that I follow. And I love the work that Paige puts into these videos. And I like keep hearing and seeing like month after month all of these really cool readathons, and I want to like participate in more. But I've realized I have developed some bad habits from these readathons, because especially if I am if I'm participating with other people in a way. So the Sunrise on the Readathon, I had that was by Katie Colson this past year. I absolutely loved that, had a blast, actually went into the Discord and did participate and whatnot. And I just realized my reading home life balance and hobby balance was way out of whack. I definitely read more, but I also read different, like I was reading to read to the challenge, not reading for my own personal reading goals. And that was kind of a huge wake up call. And then I had a huge reading slump afterwards that I am still to this day dealing with the backlash of. And it's why I think I finished like 1 book in the month of December. Like, I hate that so much to say I've read like 1 book. And it's just something that I've realized. And so I am really, really going to limit my readathons. I'm hoping I stick to this, to 3 readathons. That's 6. 3 readathons in 2026. The first and foremost is my own readathon. I'm going to participate in my own readathon. I am absolutely loving my K-pop readathon. It is so much fun. I have so many plans for future readathons, future rounds. It is going to expand. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely enjoying it. I will obviously continue participating in mine. The second one is the Buzzwordathon by Lala. And that is because I have participated in that one for a few years now, but I'm doing it with the caveat that it has to be books done with books that are on my physical TBR. The only time that I can deviate is come like maybe November or December. If I haven't hit like 1 or 2 prompts, maybe then I might like outsource to Libby or KU or eBooks or something else. But I'm really, really, really going to try and focus those on books that are on my physical TBR. I've made my physical TBR bingo. I made an entire video about that. I will be, at the end of this, after I'm done filming this, I'm going to be going through and I'm going to be writing my annual list of every book on my TBR. I may film that, but I haven't decided yet. But I do create like I physically write down, and I think that's also really important, is because like you were just sitting there writing every title, and it's just after a while you're just like, oh my god, why do I have so many physically unread books on my shelves? And there's nothing wrong with that. I absolutely love my bookshelf and my collection, and I keep buying books, and I'm so excited for all of the books that I have. But it just is a like really good reminder of like you have so many books. And so I'm just going to really challenge myself to do that readathon with the books that I already have. So it's going to be something that's going to be done in the background, but not necessarily something that I'm going to be focusing heavily on. And that is also going to coincide with the third readathon, and that is the Romantasy Bingo. Yeah, Romantasy Bingo board done by Covers with Cassidy. And that again is going to be done with books that I physically own / have pre-ordered for next year. So if it's coming physically into my house, or will physically be in my house from my own money in 2026, then it'll count. It'll only be towards the end of the year if I'm missing prompts that I want to fill in. Then at that point, I may open it up. I mean, although to be fair, I've already counted one that I did like an ebook or whatnot. It just kind of depends. But for the most part, I want to say I'm trying to get like 95% of the books that I'm going to be reading for that bingo are going to be ones that I physically own. And it's just because I want to be intentional with my books and reading. And I don't want to be reading books to fill prompts that are taking away from my priority reads, which are my physical books, my physical collection. I'm currently like, I have a stack next to me of like 10 books that I just brought into my house today alone. And I want to be able to read all of these books. And so I don't want it to come to a readathon where it's like I have a prompt that I can't fulfill with a book that I physically own. And so now I'm putting the books that I physically own to the side to be able to read something else. It's just one of those things where that is what I want to do for my collection and my reading experience, and I'm really happy with that decision. I think I may struggle with some of them because there are so many cool readathons and I want to participate in all of them, but I need to be better and more mindful of my habits. So goal number 4 is one that I'm really excited about, and it's definitely like probably going to piss some people off, and I don't care, they're my books in my collection. But that is a 2-part, is I want to reread some of my books. So some of that is obviously with my Romantasy books. I want to reread the first book in order to continue on in the series or get to the sequel or whatnot. But the other part of rereading books is I want to annotate my books again. I want to do it more. So I have now physically annotated 2 books in my collection. So this is my Red, White, and Royal Blue. You can see there are so many tabs and whatnot. These are just the tabs. You flip through, it is written up and just thoroughly engaged with. And then I have my Nightmare Before Christmas. You can see all of those tabs. Yes, it is a sprayed edge copy. No, I do not care. Again, same thing, like written and highlighted and just under and all that. I have never had a more fun experience as I had going back and rereading these books and annotating them and highlighting them and just really engaging with some of my favorite books. These are 2 of my favorite books of all time, and to be able to like really delve in and write with them, I just had so much fun. And I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, why haven't I done that more? I did the first one I think in like November or December of 2024, and then I did this one in like January of 2025, and that's it. I haven't gone back and done it because I've been like making it a priority to really read new books, which is great. But also there's nothing wrong with rereading. As a kid, I would constantly reread my books. I'm going to show you one of my oldest books that I have had since I was a child, and it is beat to high hell, but it shows the love of this book. One moment. I don't think I've shown this book on my channel since I've relaunched it, but either way, we're going to show it again. And this is my childhood copy of Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. This was the Uglies series and the Maximum Ride series by James Patterson were my 2 favorite series as a child. I constantly had one of those books from those 2 series in my backpack at all time. As a result, my books, they have seen better days. But you could just see like the broken spine, the wearing, the damage to the spine. Also, like if you look at this cover, you can just see how worn and frayed it is. Some of the folding. Like this was like not intentional. Like I did not sit there and fold my cover. My book cover, like you can see, it is falling apart. I love that this book looks like this. I love it. I do have a second copy of this book. Because I haven't fully decided yet, because I do want to reread it. I haven't fully decided yet if I want to do that in my original copy or if I want to reread it in the like nicer edition. It's the exact same cover, it's just like pristine and not like to hell and back. But I love that this book looks like this because like you look at my bookshelves and you know, oh, Lex loved that book at once upon a time. Lex loved that book because this is just genuine wear and tear from me reading the book. And I love that. And I learned and like rediscovered that feeling of like a good, well-worn book when I was annotating my books because like you can look at these books now and you can see I loved these. I had so much to say. There were things that made me laugh or giggle or I just loved, and I want to keep embracing that feeling. Will I be annotating every single book? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like annotating is only going to be for like my favorite books, the books I want to keep. Also, I do not care if it has a sprayed edge, if it's a special edition, anything. I don't care. I do not collect books for collector purposes in terms of resale value. I collect books because they have personal like meaning for me. And so I have books in my collection that are collector pieces for me to have just in my collection. Like souvenirs or like books from my mom's childhood or my childhood or favorite books. And honestly, most of my special editions are just because I pre-ordered the book and that was the first edition, and so they had the pretty sprayed edge. I don't go out of my way to buy these special editions of these books. And so I don't care that I'm writing in them and whatnot. Like, I want these books to look well loved, and I want more of my collection to look like that. And so that is like a purposeful goal that I have going into 2026 is that I want more of my collection to look well read and loved. And I just want to eventually have one day where if I wanted to, I could flip my books around so they're like sitting like this on my shelves and you just walk by and you just see all of the tabs and all of the books and you can just see like the love that I've poured into these books. And so I know that annotating books is like a very hot topic in the book world and whatnot. And listen, if you do not want your books to look damaged, you want them to look pristine, more power to you. I understand why. I'm just not one of those people. I have learned that about myself that it's okay. And the way I learned it is I first went technically, this Red, White, and Royal Blue is a second copy. So my original copy I lent to a family member who unfortunately did tell me recently that my original copy got damaged, but she's going to be replacing it, but that's fine. But I bought this so just in case I didn't like the experience of it. It wasn't my original copy and I still already physically had one. And I didn't have to go buy another one, but it's okay because in the end I absolutely loved this, and this just like this does sit like this on my bookshelves, like in my Red, White, and Royal Blue little corner of my bookshelves, and absolutely love it. And that's just, but I did that first, and then once I knew that I loved that, then I just went straight into my copy of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I just did that in my only. This is my only copy of this book. I haven't decided what other books that I want to do the annotation with, other than the other two Sarah Rash books that I have. I do want to do that with. I do want to annotate those ones as well. So I might start with those just because I already know I want to annotate them, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I want to reread more of my books and I want to annotate them. It's a fun experience for me, and I also feel like I get more out of it because it kind of goes back to that reading slower thing. By annotating it and being really heavily into the book, you just are taking more of it in, and it lingers longer. You remember more because you were physically like really into it versus just speed reading, if that makes any sense. So I've talked about this way too long. We're going on to the next one. We're only halfway through my goals. Second goal is I want to continue reading down my physical TBR. This one is kind of like a no-brainer. I've kind of touched on it before, and as of filming this, I haven't done my official count. Last time I had seen, I think I had 48 unread books on my shelves. I did just buy an additional 10, so that should be roughly 58 unread books in my collection. However, I have more coming. I have another one that's being delivered tomorrow. I have 2 more being delivered on January 6th because those are pre-orders. I have more pre-orders coming throughout the rest of the year. So I know that I'm going to continue bringing in more books. So I really want to just continue the good habits that I have established in 2025. And I just want to continue reading down my physical TBR, prioritizing that. And then like if I need to supplement with other books like KU books and whatnot that I don't own, I can do that, but I'm making my physical TBR my priority. So I've done pretty good with that in 2025, and I just want to continue that into 2026. Goal number 6 is kind of like, I feel like it's a little crazy, but also not as much. And that is to stop using Goodreads, but also to start tracking in a notebook. I think it kind of goes back to, I want to get rid of some of the bad habits that I have established over the years and go back to kind of how I used to read. And I believe I restarted using Goodreads in like 2014-ish, I think, is when I kind of roughly started reusing Goodreads. And I want to do an experiment in 2026 where I don't use Goodreads. Obviously, I will like create a author account to have my book up on Goodreads and whatnot. But like as a reader, I don't want to use Goodreads. And I want to track everything in my notebook, and I want to see how that does. I want to see how that feels. I'm also getting a TBR counter that I ordered off Etsy that's coming in the mail. And I'll keep track of the number that way, but I'm going to physically write down all of the books that I read, that I DNF, all that information. I'm going to write that down because I really like writing in my journals and my notebooks, just kind of like all of my bookish stuff. And so I just want to see what that's like. Do I like that? Do I like, and at the end of the year, I still may go back onto Goodreads and put all the books in that I read for the year so that I have a digital count of all of the books that I have read. But I just want to do an experiment in 2026 and see what happens if I stop recording all of the books that I read online and I just do it physically. Obviously, I will still be making vlogs. I'll be talking about all these books and videos and whatnot, but I want to see what happens if I stop using the apps and see what that does to my reading. All right. Goal number 7 is kind of bouncing off of that, but it's also a little bit of a new one. And this is also, now that I'm looking at it, this is, the next 2 videos are not, the goals are not video related or book related. They're video related of sorts. But goal number 7 is I want to, in my notebook that I'm also going to be keeping track of all my books and whatnot, I want to do a song of the day. Where like at the end of the day, I just kind of write down like my go-to song for that day. Like what is the song that I wanted to listen to? What was on repeat? What was I feeling? And just kind of see, maybe I might like keep track, like highlight like certain bands and whatnot and just see like what that looks like, because like obviously I get my music wrapped, that's quarterly and annually, but I almost kind of want to see like a day-to-day, like what was I going for, and I just want to see how that does and what I think of it. I like that idea. I have no clue if I'm actually going to stick with it every single day because 365 days is a long time to keep track of that, but that is a goal that I have, and I think it'll be fun. And then my last goal that I have is I want to make more chill, just fun, laid-back videos. Not worrying about perfectionism and that the video has to be absolutely perfect. Do I care about quality? Yes, I mean, I'm literally wearing a mic that I just bought because I did want to increase my audio quality a little bit. I do want to start actually using more of my lights so that my camera lighting, like that it's better. Yeah, but like these are things that I already have, but I also just want to make more fun videos. I want to make more K-pop videos, reacting to songs, reacting to albums. I know for a fact ATEEZ has a comeback in the works. I know it's happening. I know it is. It is. I can feel it. And it's also overdue. So like I'm going to be making videos reacting to that. I want to maybe like make videos me reacting to music videos and noob groups and just like old tag videos that nobody is doing anymore, but I think are fun because they're also just like a time capsule that I have for my channel. And this channel is for me to have fun. Yes, it is also for me to like expand my community and to be able to talk with people about books and all of that. But also it's just, this is a channel for me to have fun. I went to school for sports journalism with a focus on production. I love tech. I love creating videos, editing, all that. Do I necessarily want to put in the work to the level that I can do? Absolutely not. I have skills much higher than I will probably ever put into a YouTube video. And that does include the many, many hours that I put into the K-pop teaser trailer where I like mashed together a bunch of songs and whatnot to make my teaser trailer announcement. That I absolutely like is not great quality. It was just something that I did for fun and I kind of threw together to create something. And I don't care necessarily about the quality, but that was a fun video to make. Because it was like, okay, like let's figure out what songs that I want to do and let's see how well or bad I can kind of mesh these together and see what happens. Is it great? No, but am I keeping it up? Absolutely. It was a fun video to make and I just want to make more fun videos. Um, and I just am really excited to see what 2026 will bring in terms of my reading and my writing and my videos and all of that. I think this is going to be so fun and I cannot wait to take you on the ride. Let me know in the comments down below what goals you have for 2026. Like, what is your, like, give me, if you want to give me multiples, go for it, but give me like your main goal that you have for 2026. But that is it for this video, you guys. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up if you want. If you don't, that's cool too. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.